lead. They're getting a little wobbly.
Justin Chapman rebound. Robbie Ryan for three. She hits it, and we are tied.
Cherry's three.
Johnny Walker matching up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls on. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off and buries the puck.
Daniels takes the shot for Kirby.
Well, welcome in to this edition of Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to all. And I said I'd be here, and I'm actually in enemy territory, Pitchfork Lunchers. Don't get too mad. Definitely wanted to come see the fam, hanging with my mom and sister and brother-in-law, but it is down in that city where that school down south is at. Yes, in Tucson, as we taking the show on the road, but yes, celebrating Thanksgiving with the fam. And I did have to say again, first and foremost, happy Thanksgiving to all. If you're checking this out, hope you're enjoying it with your families and all that. And yeah, hope you're enjoying it with your families. But that's all right, because I'll be back up, obviously, in Tempe for the Territorial Cup, the battle, and unfortunately, the 5-game win streak that ASU had going into last season, they fell short against this team down here, who is actually, we'll see what happens today between Oregon, or tomorrow. Sorry, not today. Today's a lot of pro football, and the Packers we're beating the Lions at half, just in case those of you, and if you're watching that, I get it. Hopefully you come back, check this out. Well, I know you'll come back and check this out. I shouldn't say hopefully. I know you will, but it is in the 70s here in, in Tucson, but even in the Phoenix metro area. So the weather is not bad at all. And again, a lot of people having their turkey bowls, getting out, playing some football. I know obviously some hoops being played as well, but I just hope everybody, is having a happy Thanksgiving so far. It's early, and indulge me on this next little bit. And any comments you have. Yes, I am Michael Carasino. You know that at Diablo00 is where you can find me. And no, I mean, it would have been an interesting Twitter handle to create for starting the show, Pitchfork Lunch, but no, that has been my Twitter handle since I joined Twitter. Being a Sun Devil, I searched, and there was a lot of there was a lot of posts from from a lot. So yeah, I mean, just again, have a happy Thanksgiving. And yes, but there was a lot of Twitter handles, I should say, and you know, didn't want to copy, but I went with that Diablo 00 because that's what was available. But I mean, I should just say I created it for the show. And it's one of those things where it would have been genius. I should take credit that way, but no, anybody that's followed me on Twitter has known that for quite a while. So, anywho, we are going to go around Sun Devil Sports. Man, it was a phenomenal. It was tough break, a 5-set match up in Pullman yesterday, where the Devils fell short to the Cougs, and man, I mean, it just it was funny because the team that was on the one side of the court won every set, and inevitably Washington State ended up being on that side of the court, so they won it in 5, and man, a ton of aces. I think this is the first match. Sorry about that. This was the first match as to where the Devils got out aced, and Washington State did beat them in 5. And I mean, it was again just back and forth. It was 25-18. Washington State took the first. The Devils controlled the second one. 25-17. Washington State controlled the third and won 25-18. The Devils were in control of the fourth, and the Cougs made a little bit of a run. It was 25-23. I was watching, and man, but then the Washington State took the fifth set 15-13. And yeah, they got out ace. I mean, granted, it was double-digit aces for both teams, but the fact that ASU got ace that much, they haven't had double-digit aces against them all season long. So yeah, Washington State, and again, they're 11th ranked team in the country. So, and they have had a heck of a season. Iman Isanovich, who, yes, former Sun Devil, is who had transferred to Washington State. Isanovich led the Cougs with 12 kills. And it's a very international flavor team from Washington State. Not that ASU doesn't have international flavor, because we do, but yeah, Iman Isanovich led with 12 kills, and then Magda, Jalarova had 10 kills, and Katie Ryan also had 10 for ASU. Marta Levinska up over 20 kills, 21 kills for Levinska. Jelly Sear had 11. Shannon Shields had 5. Claire Jeter had 5 aces yesterday. Jillian Neal had 4. Mary Schroll had 1. So we'll get to it later. But you know me, the geeked out champion ace, who will be the champion of aces at the end of the season. And Claire Jeter a little bit behind, but last 2 matches she's made a run and had 5 yesterday. Jillian Neal, again, she started serving, a little bit about halfway through, conference play, and coach liked what she was doing in practice. She had 4 aces. Mary Schroll also dropped 1. Claire Jeter, 3 blocks to lead the team. Maddie McLaughlin had 2, and she's looking stronger and stronger each match. After again she went down with that injury against Utah. But nonetheless, Maddie had 2 blocks, and then Shannon Shields had 2 as well. Assists, Shannon Shields had 38. Jelly Sear had 3. Mary Schroll had 2 digs. Jelly Sear with 14, out digging the libero, which again in the back row, and they were talking about it in the broadcast, but I've been talking about it all year too. Like, if she's not swinging as well, but she pulled the string quite a few times yesterday. They said having 11 kills, but she had 14 digs. Schroll had 11. Shannon Shields had 6. So, I mean, again, you look at that and you think, man, what just a solid match. I mean, Jelly Sear hit 304. Again, Marta Levinska hit 333 yesterday. So, but you look at Washington State, Lana Radakovich hit 667. Magda Jelarova, like I said, she hit 600. Argentina Ung hit 571. And then Iman Asanovic, I mean, she hit 200, which again a little low, but led the team in kills and just was very, very key. And yes, it was one of those funny stats. And you guys know I always I'll mention those, but she was the only player on the court that had beat Washington State, and she when she played for ASU. So yeah, but so the Devils again, still one more match left down here in Tucson to take on the Cats on Saturday. And yeah, it's Territorial Cup points. Want to get the sweep of them and head into the season on a win. They are now 25-6 overall, looking to go 26-6. And again, we'll see where they are for the first round of the tournament. But hey, it is business first, obviously even coming off a loss. And this team hasn't lost back-to-back matches all season. Yes, they obviously went through non-conference play undefeated, right? We all know that. So they went through non-conference play undefeated, and then opened up in conference play, beating Arizona, beating Washington. And yeah, I mean, when you look at it, they beat Arizona, beat Washington, then they lost to Stanford, turn around, beat Cal, beat SC, beat UCLA, lost to Oregon State, beat Oregon, beat Utah, lost to Colorado, beat Cal, beat Stanford, beat UCLA, lost to USC, beat Colorado, beat Utah, lost to Oregon, beat Oregon State, and then lost to Washington State. But this team has not lost back-to-back games all season, and that is at any level. And of course, even in this conference, it's even more phenomenal that they have not done that. Yes, Stanford has not done that. And I want to say, I know Oregon hasn't done it either. Obviously, Arizona has, Colorado has, UCLA has, but I mean, it's, yeah, they have not lost back to back all season long. And, beating the number 5 team in the country at the time, beating the number 3 team in Stanford, who's now the number 2 team, sweeping them. It's a team that, when they play their offense, and again, when they get to play that fast offense and Shannon Shields is running it, they can do a lot. Yes, you have Marta Levinska, who becomes the Terminator, but I mean, also at the net, I mentioned Jelly Sear, Roberta Habello, Claire Jeter, obviously up front as well. So I mean, there is options. Maddie McLaughlin too. Like, when we look at we'll look at the stats later, but I'm just saying. So again, if you can, their match against the team down south on Saturday is at 5:00. And it'll be on, Pac-12 network. So 5:00, and you can again turn that gym maroon and gold and send the Cats home on a wonderful note for Sun Devil Country. So yes, that is what's going on there. Hockey, don't forget, we do have hockey that is I want to say they play tomorrow. I know that they play tomorrow, but I just want to make sure I have the right team. As they're taking on Providence tomorrow at 7 p.m. and then Sunday at 2:00. They take on Providence as well, who is the rankings came out, they dropped from 7 to 9, but still the number 9 team in the country, another top 10 team. That they're taking on. And again, this team is still 9-1-0 at home, only loss, of course. Yes, Pitchfork Lunchers, who is it? To the second-ranked team in the country, to Denver, who, yes, Pitchfork Lunchers, as you know, they split with Coach Powers, again, doing a phenomenal job. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. and then Sunday at 2 p.m. So again, you got a little hockey on Friday, football on Saturday, hockey again on Sunday again. Or if you want to mix in, you can, like I said, do not be scared to come down here and mix in volleyball. That's on Saturday as well. So again, Thanksgiving weekend, it just depends where you're at. But hey, if you get a chance, I suggest it. If not, definitely you can check the hockey game out or the volleyball game out, like I said, on Pac-12 networks. Tomorrow night's game will be on the ASU live stream for hockey. And then, pardon me, it is a blackout Friday. So yes, for that. And then Sunday, it's on Pac-12 Arizona. You can check that out. So that is again, Providence, the Friars coming to town, and look, you want to win every game, but you definitely want to split. Don't want to drop both. And Providence is number 9 in the country. So football, like I said, it is a battle for the Territorial Cup, the oldest cup in college football. So it dates back a very long time, before Arizona was even a state. That is one of the fun trivia facts, knowledge of that. So that being said, that on Saturday, I'm going to step aside real quick. When we get back, we're going to jump into it. Jump into football, and again, just talk about this matchup, this, ASU offense against this Arizona defense, and just vice versa, just in general. Like, we'll start with that and go all around vice versa. So we'll check it out. But I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving. I'll step aside real quick. More coming up here on the inaugural Thanksgiving edition of Pitchfork Lunch. Oh, yes, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Kirsteno at Diablo00. Yes, as you know, where you can find me on Twitter. See the show live here on Twitter, Facebook, and the YouTube. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube. I know quite a bit of you have. Again, thank you for that. But if you haven't, go to my YouTube, go to my page. It's M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. You missed an awesome interview yesterday with former women's basketball coach Charlie Turner Thorne, who, again, turned a program around, who hadn't done a whole lot and hadn't had success for quite a while. And, obviously she built that women's program up, getting to the tournament, went to the tournament 14 times, a few Elite Eights, Sweet 16s. again, I know it is not easy to do and it is tough to do, but it's a team that, or if you thought there may have always been a season or two where man they can get there, they can win a national title, but again, not easy to do. And for teams that have done it multiple times, hats off to them, as we've seen even in the own conference, Stanford. But nonetheless, I digress that you missed Charlie Turner Thorne yesterday. We covered a lot of topics, obviously basketball, her working with the Mercury, working with somebody like Brittany Griner, scouting, obviously Ray Anderson stepping down, the whole athletic director, the new athletic director search at ASU. I try to have breaking news here that she was interested, but she's too much of an old pro. No, she obviously is involved. I mean, she's teaching at ASU, and yes, she stated what would, and a lot of the coaches like Willie Bloomquist has said, like Kenny Dillingham has said, obviously what it's going to take to lead an athletic department into this new era of obviously NIL. And I mean, yes, you have the transfer portal. That's one side of it, but NIL and, what teams are doing and how, trying, for teams, if they are, I'm not saying teams are, and I'm not saying they aren't, because I'm sure teams have, but like trying to poach players to enter the transfer portal and, going with trying to, entice them with what they can get with NIL and basically poaching players, which again, there needs to be regulation on it. I'm sorry. If you want to enter, that's fine. But if it comes out, and not just a school accusing somebody, yes, there has to be evidence and a solid, proof and background of it. But if a team does that, then no, that player cannot transfer there. And there should be penalties for it. It shouldn't just be it shouldn't be the Wild West. If you're there shouldn't be a transfer portal. I'm all for the transfer portal. But if teams are poaching boosters, if there was contact, and yes, if the NCAA should have a separate, they should actually be proactive. Here's a crazy random thought for the NCAA and being proactive. You could have like a committee, a council, whatever you want to say, a division, but with that, like it would be like compliance, but transfer portal compliance. And if there was something said, and if something comes out, and if that player was tampered with, then you can start talking to them, or players can reach out once they enter the transfer portal. But if a player is not in the portal, then all of a sudden you see, he enters the portal, and pretty quickly he signed at a certain school. Didn't take time. And again, a lot of times, yes, they might have a school in mind and it might work out, and they may have been recruited by that school. I'm not saying that everybody, it's all coming to that, but there needs to be a compliance division within the NCAA, independent of the schools. And if it is found that the player cannot transfer there, they can say in the portal, they can go elsewhere. They can go, if they want to go back, they can go back, but they can go elsewhere, but they will not go to where there was somebody just came in and say, we're going to give you, we're giving you this, enter the transfer portal, we'll give you this, when the player wasn't in the transfer portal and they were poaching. Once they're in the portal, let the games begin, as they say, let the battle begin. But there needs to be a compliance on that. And it's happened in sports. In some of the sports, I'm gonna say it has definitely happened, and there needs to be a compliance thing from the NCAA, because they can never they've gotten things right. It might take them long, and of course they're reactive, like we always say, not proactive. But yes, so you missed the interview with Coach Thorne. There's other interviews, like I said. I've had Willie Bloomquist on. We had Graham Winkworth from women's soccer. We've had JJ Van Niel on twice. Mad shout out to Coach Van Niel, and obviously the job he's doing with women's volleyball turning around. I mean, they beat Arizona on Saturday. They will have doubled their win total from last year. Yeah, they were 13-19, and they'll finish 26-6. So let's get that done. But shout out to Coach Van Niel. You've missed that twice. And yes, we've had players on. Also, Jason Mons, tight ends coach for ASU football, has been on with us. So voice of the Sun Devils, Chris Cartman, friend of the program, insider, the publisher of Sun Devil Source for 24/7 Sports. Like, it has been there. Tim Healy, like I said, the voice of the Sun Devils. We've had it on, so you can go back, you can share those, like those, but subscribe to the channel. View, watch the shows. Again, you can binge watch. Holidays are coming up. Binge watch as much as you want, but I'm bringing it to you. So, nonetheless, at MVC005 on YouTube, subscribe. But let's get into football. Yes, we do have. Again, I talked about a little bit about it yesterday. It's a Arizona offense that has just been playing absolutely out of their minds. When you look at it, they're playing, depending on what happens between the Ducks and the Beavers tomorrow on Saturday, Arizona could be playing for a chance to play in the Pac-12 championship game. So it's against Washington. Washington clinched after that amazing victory over Oregon State on the road in Corvallis, the rain, everything. And yeah, so I mean, they're headed to the Pac-12 championship game. They are 11-0, 8-0 in conference play, and yeah, 8-0 in conference play. Pardon me, and it's again, rivalry week as the games come down, but they have their game with ASU. Obviously, Washington wants to finish strong. They have the game with the Apple Cup. But yeah, when you look at the college football rankings, by the way, Washington at 4, which again, they moved up ahead of Florida State. I think they should be above. I think they should be above Ohio State. I think Michigan exposes the hell out of Ohio State, and I cannot wait for them to absolutely pound them into submission. Ohio State's defense is good, but they get credit for the Notre Dame game, which it's a great win. As when people talk about Ohio State, they had 10 men on the field in the last play. Yes, they drove down. Yes, Notre Dame led most of that game. So hey, Notre Dame made a mistake. Ohio State won. They're 11-0, but it's Georgia, and then there's literally, Ohio State. It wouldn't even be close. C.J. Stroud, obviously, we know what he meant to Ohio State. Saw what he did last year, but nonetheless, Washington should be above Ohio State. Michigan should be above Ohio State. I still think Florida State is better than Ohio State when you take the whole team. Yes, the injury to Jordan Travis does suck, and I know I didn't say this the other day. Do not go back and look at the replay of it. Just don't. It's yeah. But yeah, Pac-12 wise, look, Washington's at 4, Oregon's still at 6. Everybody's saying, no, you don't want to play Oregon. Once Ohio State loses, they better be below Oregon. That's all I know. Well, if Oregon State beats Oregon, then they probably wouldn't be. But yeah, the Florida State. You have Washington at 4, Oregon at 6, Arizona at 15, Oregon State at 16, and that's a college football playoff in the top 25 there. But it's funny because the college football playoff ranking flipped them. That has Arizona 15, Oregon State 16. Even though Oregon State close game with Washington, and Arizona, did lose to Washington, but they have Oregon State 15, does the AP, and Arizona 16. So yeah, but that's why this game is even more fun. And again, for Arizona, I mean, they obviously are rooting for Oregon State to have a chance. But like I said yesterday, Sun Devil Nation, there's nothing more I would love. The fanatic in me, yes, the fan, the fanatic, the homer in me is for Oregon State to beat Oregon, and then for ASU to just beat Arizona, and Oregon still goes to the Pac-12 championship game because the Cats lost to the Devils, in which they should. But just heads up there. But yeah, no, I mean, look, defensive wise, it is it's one of those things, and I talked about it yesterday, being 29 sacks on the year for the team down south here. They got ASU has 26. But yeah, I mean, it's the thing I love about this too, real quick, is the quarterbacks in the nation, offensive leaders, passing wise, total yards. 4 out of the 5. What conference are they from? All the Pac-12, the conference with the best quarterbacks. It's the best quarterback conference in the country. Yes, there are other talented ones across the country. I've said that. But as for the whole conference having to deal with it, it's not even close. Michael Penix Jr., number 1 in yards. Caleb Williams, USC, number 2 in yards. Jaden Daniels, hats off to him. He is number 3, but former Pac-12 quarterback. Just saying, because all those Ohio State fans love to take credit for Joe Burrow. Great decision not putting him on the field, because you allegedly had about the same amount of talent as Christie on the outside. Talent that you didn't have Jamar Chase. Let's not get crazy, but that LSU had, and you didn't think he was good enough to start. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Nonetheless, and then you have Bo Nix, 4th, and then Cameron Ward, Washington State. I mean, 5th. So 4 out of the top 5 in yardage. It's insane to me. Romo Dunze, Troy Franklin, by the way, 4th in the country in receiving yards, and Romo Dunze 5th. Crazy. But yes. So anyway, I digress. But when we look at, this matchup and this U of A defense, like I said, they are 5th with 29 sacks. And then ASU had 26. But, I mean, UCLA 40 on the season, Oregon State 36, Utah, I mean, didn't have their with injuries now there, but they're still at 31, tied with Oregon, who's got 31 sacks. But, yeah, I mean, UCLA's defense, and that's just how big that victory over UCLA was for ASU, because of what that defense has done all year. And it was 17-7 the final, so it's not like you have obviously a ton of points. And you look at points scored, UCLA's number 1 in the conference. UCLA and Oregon are tied for first at 16.7, and then you have Utah third at 20 even. Arizona tied for 4th with Oregon State at 20.6. So yeah, you're playing that kind of defense. And yards per game, Arizona, who's 5th, right? They're 5th in the conference in yards offensively. They've gained 438.4 yards a game. And defensively, they are also 5th because they've given up 344 yards a game. Think about UCLA, 298.7 yards a game, not even giving up 300 yards a game. That is insane to me. Where are they? Wow. Well, the number 1 team, Michigan, and people say Michigan's got either way. The Michigan still is dominated. They've only given 234.8 yards a game. Penn State 238.7, and then Ohio State 252.9 in the country. But yeah, I mean, when you look at passing, offensive leaders, Oregon 546.6 yards a game. They are number 2 in the country. Passing wise, Washington number 1, Oregon number 2, Washington State 4, USC 5. Yeah. Anyway, but I'll get back to this game. I just reminding people that if you're going to think even close to putting 2 Big Ten teams in, because look, to me, if Washington wins the Apple Cup. They beat Washington State. They go to the Pac-12 championship game. Even if they lose a rematch to Oregon, to me, if you're going two best teams, and there could be two Pac-12 teams, and obviously Georgia, and then to me Michigan, because to beat Ohio State and then win the Big Ten championship, because who's ever there on the other side, they're just going to absolutely steamroll. Penn State, look, I love their defense. I will never I'm not going to trash Penn State, but anyway, fast forwarding. But so defensively, again, like I said, Arizona is vastly improved, obviously, from last year, but they are getting it done. And then when you're getting to the quarterback that much, I mean, 29 sacks, like I said, Coach Dillingham has proved the last few weeks, obviously, what to expect, or that he can adjust, and you're not going to know what to expect from ASU. But that being said, this defense, again, they've seen some stuff on film. Yeah, you can try and prep for it. It's still hard to prep even if you haven't run it. And so we'll see. It's in Tempe, which is a great thing. But yeah, I mean, look, Cam Scadaboo is going to have to game. You get to Carlos Brooks back, and Coach Dillingham talked about that. Played the sound. I'm going to play some of his Monday presser for you in a second. But yeah, it's one of those things where getting to Carlos Brooks back, Cam Scadaboo, yes, you want to get Elijah Badger the ball. You need to get him the ball. And, with Conyers and Bryce Pierre and even Messiah Swinson, who, getting these bigger tight ends involved to help out, Trenton Bourguet. I mean, and Coach Dillingham, asked him, Rashad is progressing, but they're not going to put him on the field if, he said he's not even going to, think of putting him out on the field if he can't perform. But, we'll see if he plays. I mean, obviously with the wild scat offense and with Scadaboo, running it, and then Jalen Conyers, obviously Trenton Bourguet playing quarterback mixed in. He'd love to obviously get a victory in this game. So, but yeah, defensively, I mean, like I said, with what Arizona has done, and you're gonna have to be able to at least keep your defense off the field, give them a breather so they can stay fresh and get after Fafita. Because look, Sun Devil fans, he has played, and yes, I know all of this does pain me, but you got to tip your cap to him, like Jalen Conyers said the other day. They're a good team right now. They're playing good. They're a good team, and not just because they're playing good, but they're a good team this year. And I mean, they're an overtime win away, at Mississippi State, probably being ranked higher in the rankings and only having 2 losses this year, which would both be in conference. So, I mean, to USC at the time, but beating, UCLA. So, but what they've been able to do defensively and watching them, like it's, you said, you gotta, again, be physical, and it's going to be chippy. So I don't think you're going to have to, for guys that have been in the game, and for the guys that it's their first game, believe me, by the end of their, I'd say first 2 series, whether they're on offense or defense, right, they're gonna get the chippiness, and they're gonna understand real quick. But you got to keep yourself in check, like Jalen Conyers said. He thinks back to when he was 5th grade. I think he said 5th grade. He said how bad he would have got whooped when he got home if he did something, got in a fight or caused a problem or something, in those lines. So you appreciate Conyers honesty on that one. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a challenge for the Devils. And but yeah, here's I'm gonna Coach Dillingham, his Monday presser, but he talked a little bit about this. And but yeah, he talked a little bit about it. So without further ado, here is Coach Dillingham talking a little bit about the rivalry from Monday.
How do you get across to them how important this really is? Because a lot of these guys aren't even from in town.
Yeah, I mean, I think the intensity level of everything just has to increase. I mean, your intensity level should always be high, but you should be able to show an even heightened intensity in different ways, shapes, or forms. So we're gonna continue to educate, and kids are smart. Kids know when you're fake, kids know when you're real, kids know when you're saying something that means something, kids know when you're saying something just because you're supposed to say it. So the kids and the players are going to be able to feed off of real energy and real passion and real competitiveness, and they're going to feel it. And I think, how do you educate them on it? You've got to show them that it matters. And how do you show them that it matters? It matters to me. So they're naturally going to get and feel that vibe, I would say, from myself.
Can you lean on some of the returning players that have been through, a lot of them, like maybe a Jordan Clark, they've been through a lot of these games.
100%. I mean, when we were going to sit down in the meeting today, I was playing the highlight video from the team down south after they won the game last year. That's what was playing in the meeting on loud, whatever, cinematic recap, right? And just to show these guys, that we have to come and we have to prepare at a high level to get ready to compete and get the cup back.
Coach, with how good Arizona's been this last 5 weeks, they completely turned their season around. I mean, they're one of the top teams in the Pac-12 right now. What have they done in the last 5 weeks to just completely turn that season around? What have you seen from them?
Their quarterback is playing at a high level. They have a wide receiver who's 2 wide receivers, but that are first round, top 2 to 3 round draft picks. And they've done their offensive line is big, defensive line big, a lot of transfers in their defensive line. They're stout up front, they stop the run, and they're very simple, they don't bust. I mean, there's not many, I shouldn't say flaws, but not many just wide open people on the tape, because they're simple defensively, and I think some of the best, there's 2 ways to play defense. You can either be really aggressive in attack, and you can be really simple, and they're aggressive in attack with their front defense coordinator being a defensive line guy by the core, but they're super simple with their back end to prevent the big plays. So they have a little bit of a balance of creating negatives and creating explosives on defense through being a multiple front, but they're simple enough on defense to cover that multiple front up with not having explosive plays in the back end.
Like Andy Hodder, being a Devil's Digest, you're familiar with the whole mental aspect of it here as far as going into the Arizona game and being hyped up and all that, but also not committing those careless penalties on game day. Now as the head coach, what approaches have you took maybe from previous staffs to really address that specific aspect?
Yeah, I told you guys today, we got to play with a passion, an intensity, a fire in our belly to go out there to win the football game, but you also have to play with a poise and composure. And I said one thing that we've struggled with this year is when things haven't gone our way early. On the defensive side of the ball, in that category particularly, is we either play really, really, really good defense or really, really, really bad defense. And it's not that our defense just all of a sudden becomes bad. It's we can't bounce back when we get punched in the face right now. And that was what I challenged our guys with, is we've got to be able to take a punch, right, and keep our composure and keep our eyes where they're supposed to be. Keep running to the football. Keep communicating. And you can't say, oh, so we gave up something. I just have to play so passionately with so much intensity that I'm just going to make every play. That doesn't solve the problem. That hurts the problem. You have to take a deep breath. You have to go do your job, and you go out to do it full speed, right? But you still have to do your job. And I think that was the emphasis I made from, why we've struggled in 2 of the games versus really good football teams. Is it wasn't just we played poorly, it was we just lost the focus when we got on our heels. We've got to learn how to rebalance ourselves and be a team that can, somebody scores on us and we respond. Then offensively, same thing. We've had more adversity from a negative standpoint on offense this year, so our guys have actually, in my opinion, they're responding better to those scenarios. And I think the last few weeks we've been playing better on offense, even though we didn't score last week in the first half. We drove down the field on a really good defense twice and could have scored. So I think they're growing in that category. I think our defense needs to learn how to respond better in game to those scenarios. And we're going to face that a lot this week because of the emotion of the game.
Coach, you grew up obviously around this rivalry. Is there a game or two from the past when you first saw this game that you thought that, mean, this was a rivalry to be a part of, and anyone that sticks out in your mind.
I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, to single out one isn't necessarily fair. I remember my first time, obviously, playing it. I remember, watching it when I knew I was coming here as a coach, and they were running the double arc cage grab routes from double tight off the zone and throwing the double arc to, Mario Nelson. Back when that was really popular with two tight end zone read and arc throws. I remember there's a lot of good memories from just me professionally and coaching and being around it, and then personally being around it. So obviously I've watched this game. If I haven't been able to watch it live, I've recorded it to make sure I watch it every single year. This game means a lot to everybody in the Valley, everybody associated with Arizona, the state as a whole. I mean, this game is, like I said, its own season.
Coach, linking for Concat Sports in 2014, Arizona State and Arizona played for the Pac-12 South title in that Territorial game. You were part of that staff. Is there any memories or reflections you can date back to that game, any lessons you took away from it?
It's a rivalry game. Rivalry games we already kind of mentioned it. They're about keeping your composure through play, because you're going to play with a passion. Like anybody I told her, if you don't come out there and are ready to practice this week more than other weeks, oh man, I'm sorry for you. Right, something's wrong. And so there's not going to be there's not going to be a rah-rah speech. There's not going to need to be me getting up there and trying to motivate. This is going to be us keeping our focus, us being fresh and ready to play a football game in week 12 with all of our guys, but a lot of our guys being banged up. It's about being fresh in this football game. It's about going to execute at a high level and play with a passion.
Gordon? Hey, Coach, Jordan Ham, Sports 360 It's also senior day. So what about this particular senior group has been so crucial to this team in year zero for you?
Yeah, it's the foundation. I mean, when people look back on this team in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, these guys are going to be able to come back, and they're hopefully going to be able to see me still here. They're going to be able to come and talk to our guys and say, man, you don't understand what it took to get us to this point. You don't understand that, we were the people who had to dig the ditches, and we were the people who had to lay the cement, do all the work that nobody likes to do. We were the people who had to convince the freshmen to clean the locker room and tell people to show up early even when we were losing games and we went on a 4-game losing streak. We were the people having to convince people to still show up early and to be on time. They were the people that have to do all of the hard stuff to establish the culture. And I don't think people ever give those groups of people enough credit, because it's an entertainment business, so people just want to see the actual result of a group of people, but they don't see what goes in to getting that result 2 to 3 years down the road. And I'll remember this group as the group of people that laid the foundation for the success of this program to reach heights it's never reached.
And do you anticipate any players with remaining eligibility partaking in?
And you heard it right there, head coach Kenny Dillingham again talking about the rivalry, and that's why I asked. I mean, and again, it wasn't so much. And I know I said if one sticks out, but just the memories, and like he said, I mean, being there as a staff and recording the game. If he didn't get to watch it live, recording it so he could go back no matter where he was coaching wise, whether Memphis or Florida State, Auburn. Obviously, last year was a little busy up at Oregon, but I'm sure he took a minute to watch that. And he definitely, the guy doesn't want to lose any game. I mean, as a competitor, you can see it. I mean, I know I get that way, but and it's a rivalry. And even her Coach Ward talked about it the other day too. When I played a sound, about what this means and his first memories of it. Like I said, Chuck Cecil, who's coaching down, Arizona alum, who's coaching, the secondary for the Wildcats, had like a 100-yard return. And yeah, I mean, just like you said, listen, you listen to it, you hear this stuff, and you can't, yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's in a state, it gets in you. He goes, it's tough for one. And, it's the like you said, the players know. He's like, it's a season in and of itself. That's why he said it. But yeah. So it's going to be rocking in Tempe Friday, 1:30. Games on ESPN. And yeah, offense is looking to, and even like the defense. And like I said, I get Oregon did score 42 in the first half, and they won 49-13. But it's a defense again that has had you can say two clunkers, Utah and Oregon, but they've also responded phenomenally all season long. So I'll give you a score prediction tomorrow. There's your tease on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, tomorrow on Pitchfork Lunch, we shall have a prediction. But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, and if Jaden Rashada can't play, interesting to see what he does, and even hopefully he gets to run the swinging gate a little bit. But having Scadaboo back there, having Jalen Conyers, take snaps and bulldoze ASU's human Ralphie. Shout out to Coach Iguano for coming up with that last year, and he definitely lives up to it. Does Conyers when he catches the ball and throwing dudes off? We saw it in the is that Washington State? At the Washington State game, either Washington State or Colorado just threw a dude off him, which was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, so that's if he lines up in the backfield, but Bourget or Rashada, might as well. And he said, it's like Coach Dillingham said it earlier in the week. You pull all the stops out, and I just kind of laughed afterwards thinking about it because it made me think of the Water Boy when Brent Musburger and Dan Faust. He's like, because they pulled all the stops out, Brent. But no, nonetheless, it's. Believe me, he knows it. Coach Ward knows it. Guys that have been in it know it. I mean, Trenton Bourget, obviously, from being, growing up down south, he knows, he gets it. And so, yeah, ASU had won 5. They've won 5 out of the last 6, but the Cup is until Saturday still in Tucson. But we'll see. Obviously, Territorial Cup points. Volleyball has gotten theirs. Obviously, hoops haven't played yet. Football looking to get the cup and get theirs and rocket. So, but yes, I'll wrap that up tomorrow and a little more preview and a prediction. But I do want to wrap today, like I said, going back to volleyball because, look, this is a team that like I said, is 25-6 right now, 13-6 in conference play. Yeah, 13-6 in conference play. But yeah, I mean, look, it was a tough 5-setter. It was a great 5. I mean, it's tough, but it was great. Again, going toe to toe with Washington State. Unfortunately, they beat all but one team in the Pac-12 this year. But I got to say, if they had another match with Washington State, I don't see that going Washington State's way. Washington State, very good. I'm just saying the turnaround for this ASU team has been absolutely huge. But like I said, 25-6 overall, 13-6 in conference play. So we're looking to go 26-6 and 14-6, and they need that. It would just they should get that because they are better. Arizona is massively struggling, and it's been a very tough year for the Cats. But after yesterday, up to 1,416 kills. Assists 1,310, and then aces, they are up to 219 aces after the 10 they had yesterday. 219 aces on the season, and now with what Washington State was able to do, they actually out-ace them, their opponents over 104. for their opponents. So they're 6 away, like I said, from winning eight sets off of ace points alone, which is 2 matches and 2 more sets. So like that's ridiculous. Diggs 1504. 243 blocks on the season. I mean, Claire Jeter again doing it at the net. Maddie McLaughlin as well. I mean, even Jelly Seargan and Shannon Shields has gotten in it. But the aces, like I said, yesterday's match. Yesterday's match, Claire Jeter had 5. So now, wow. So check this out. Her last 2 matches, she has just skyrocketed. Claire Jeter now leads or is second on the team with 39 aces. Mary Schroll has 40. Jeter, like I said, has 39. Levinska has 37. Shields has 36. And Sear has 32. I mean, that's just, again, like getting it done. And all of them having obviously huge plus there on the plus minus because service errors, like, yeah, not all too many. So, but yeah, I mean, 40 aces for Mary Schroll and 39 now for her. I said Claire Jeter was making a run at it. Jillian Neal now up to 13. She had 4 yesterday. And again, she wasn't coming in as that kind of serving specialist until, about a quarter of the way through conference play. So, I mean, think about that. And she's at 13. So, man, but yeah, I mean, it's still a race between Schroll, Jeter, Levinska, Shields, and Sear. I mean, Sear, a little bit of outside. She'd have to have a ton of aces. No, but still, I mean, either way. But yeah, I mean, that's just, again, the phenomenal of that. And I mean, kill wise, I want to say it's just her and I want to say it's her and why am I forgetting the big hitter from SC that are over 500? Why am I forgetting her name? I'm that's anyway, from the hitter from SC, she has actually I know what I can do. I know what I can do to solve this very quickly. Skylar Fields. I knew it started with her last name started with an F. Skylar Fields has over 500 on the season. That I do know. But yeah, she has, and I'm going to tell you what she has. But she's over 5. She was at 543 the last I had checked, and And she had, again, was just, let's see. Individually, Skylar Fields has 565. Yeah. 565 with one match left. So I'm guessing, I mean, if she say she gets 585, I mean, 35 kills. I don't see that happening to get to 6, and considering they are playing UCLA as well, yeah, they're going to focus on that. But yeah, I mean, again, a chance to finish with 585, but still 565 kills, 12 aces on the season for Fields, but 565 to lead the conference in that. But Levinska, like I said, now at 508, and yeah, I mean, that's just that's like I said, that's very, very good. And considering that, yeah, she, I mean, had it was like over 400 last year, like 412, 432, something like that. But yeah, and then when you look at, I mean, defensively, like I said, dig wise, I mean, Mary Schroll, 399 on the season, so she'll finish with over 400 digs. But Sears got 292, Shannon Shields 240, Levinska 205. Like, that's why you're a 6 rotation player. And I mean, she, whether it's a back row attack, whether she's right there at the net, her repertoire of shots and the power that she hits with too as well. Like, yeah, this team, again, they play defense like they can, and there is no stopping of there's no limit to where. And you know, Marta Lewinsky and Mandy McLaughlin both said it post game after they beat Oregon State. Like, why put a ceiling on it? Like, they know they play their game and what they're able to do and the problems that they present to other teams. Yeah, Coach Van Neal has it rocking. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to start chowing down, enjoying some football too as well. But everybody, hey, have a happy rest of your Thanksgiving and fun Black Friday if you're going to choose to partake in going shopping Saturday. I will see you at Sun Devil Stadium, Mountain America Stadium, sorry, the artist formerly known as Sun Devil Stadium, for the Territorial Cup match. And yeah, let's have a preview tomorrow, but go Devils on that. And yeah, don't forget, again, follow me on Twitter at Diablo00. Again, drop me a line, questions, thoughts, anybody you think I should interview. And again, I'm putting stuff out there and getting more and more out there, so we shall see. But yeah, follow me on Twitter at Diablo00, Facebook as well, Michael Carasneo. You can see me. And then YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Guys, you've missed, again, ton of sound bites, stuff from practice, interviews with like coaches, players, everything. I say it all the time, but go to YouTube. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 on YouTube. Subscribe. Watch the shows, binge watch, check out old interviews. Again, Charlie Turner Thorne yesterday. Always awesome to have a coach on because, again, just she gets it. And the competitor, her, and yeah, she's been asked. And again, since we're in this predicament, I would love to see her as AD. So that's my vote. But again, she's she said she's good now. So and she definitely deserves it. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thanksgiving. And yes, Sun Devil Nation, you know it. As always, forks up.
Cherry's three.
Johnny Walker, matching up against control. His shot. score. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off. And buries it.
Daniels takes the shot